First contact and deception. The vast emptiness of space had always held humanity's imagination captive. For centuries, we gazed at the stars, wondering if we were alone in the universe. On July 7, 2045, we got our answer. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, lead astronomer at the Global Space Observation Network, GSON, stared at her holographic display in disbelief. The anomaly she had detected 3 days ago was no longer just a blip on the edge of our solar system. It had resolved into a massive fleet of ships, unmistakably artificial and definitely not of human origin. "Holy shit," she whispered, her voice barely audible in the hushed control room. "Get me the Secretary General. Now." Within hours, the news had spread across the globe. Humanity held its collective breath as the alien fleet drew closer, its intentions unknown. World leaders convened in an emergency session of the United Nations, while military forces around the world were placed on high alert. As the alien ships entered orbit around Earth, a message was broadcast simultaneously on every communication channel on the planet. The face that appeared on screens worldwide was unlike anything humans had ever seen. It was vaguely insectoid, with multifaceted eyes and mandibles that clicked as it spoke. "People of Earth," the alien's translated voice boomed. "I am High Commander Zixcar of the Galactic Empire. We come in peace, seeking friendship and cultural exchange with your species." The words were honeyed, but something didn't sit right with Dr. Rodriguez. She had been analyzing the alien fleet's movements and energy signatures since their arrival. "Their actions don't match their words," she muttered, poring over data streams with her team. Meanwhile, in the depths of a secure facility beneath the Rocky Mountains, an artificial intelligence unlike any other was processing vast amounts of data. Project Prometheus, a quantum AI developed in secret by a coalition of nations, had been designed for this very moment. Dr. Aisha Patel, the lead developer of Prometheus, watched as the AI's conclusions flickered across her screen. Her eyes widened. "Oh no," she breathed. "We need to warn them." In New York, the UN Security Council was in session, debating how to respond to the Craxon's offer of friendship. Secretary General Alejandro Vega was about to address the assembly when his secure comlink buzzed urgently. "Mr. Secretary General," Dr. Patel's voice came through, tense and hurried. "Prometheus has analyzed the Craxon communications. They're lying. The linguistic patterns, the subtle electromagnetic emissions from their ships, it all points to hostile intent. They're here to conquer, not to befriend." Vega's blood ran cold. He looked out at the assembled world leaders, their faces a mix of hope and apprehension. How could he tell them that humanity's first contact with an alien civilization was not a moment of joy, but the prelude to an invasion? As if on cue, High Commander Zixcar's face appeared once more on the giant screen in the UN chamber. "Esteemed leaders of Earth," he began, mandibles clicking in what the humans now recognized as anticipation rather than friendliness. "We have observed your planet and find it suitable. The Craxon Empire offers you a choice. Join us willingly as a protectorate, or face the consequences of resistance." The chamber erupted in chaos. Shouts of anger and fear echoed off the walls as delegates argued and security personnel rushed to protect their charges. Through it all, Secretary General Vega stood motionless, his mind racing. In that moment of crisis, something remarkable happened. Humanity, so often divided by borders, ideologies, and petty differences, found itself united by a common threat. From the halls of power to the streets of cities worldwide, a single sentiment began to emerge: "We will not submit." Vega raised his hand, and gradually, the chamber fell silent. He stepped up to the podium, his face set in grim determination. "High Commander Zixcar," he began, his voice steady and resolute. "On behalf of the people of Earth, I have a message for you and your empire." He paused, meeting the alien's gaze through the screen. "We decline your offer. Earth is not for sale, nor will we bow to threats. You have gravely underestimated us. And I warn you now, If you choose the path of aggression, you will face the full might and ingenuity of a united human race. Zixkar's mandibles clicked rapidly, a sound that the human's translation software interpreted as laughter. Bold words, little beings. But what hope do you have against the technology and military might of an interstellar empire? Your species has barely left its own planet. A small smile played on Vega's lips. That, High Commander, is where you're wrong. We may be new to the galactic stage, but we are far from defenseless. You see, we've been preparing for this day for a long time. As if to punctuate his words, alarms began blaring on the Kraxon ships. Hidden defense satellites, cloaked by technology reverse-engineered from crashed alien craft decades ago, suddenly revealed themselves. A web of energy fields sprang to life around the Earth, trapping the Kraxon fleet in a cage of humanity's making. This is your final warning, Vega continued, his voice carrying the weight of billions of humans standing defiant. Leave our solar system now, or face the consequences of your actions. Earth is not a prize to be won or a planet to be subjugated. We are humanity, and we will not go quietly into the night. As the Kraxons scrambled to understand what was happening, the people of Earth stood united, ready to face whatever came next. The stage was set for a conflict that would determine the fate of not just our planet, but our species' place in the cosmos. In labs and military bases around the world, humans prepared for a fight unlike any in our history. Dr. Rodriguez and her team worked tirelessly to analyze Kraxon technology, searching for weaknesses. Dr. Patel fed Prometheus more data, refining its predictions and strategy recommendations. And in homes and shelters across the globe, ordinary people steeled themselves for the challenge ahead. They knew the road would be difficult, but they also knew something the Kraxons didn't. When pushed to the brink, humanity's potential was limitless. The Kraxon Empire had made a grave mistake. They had come expecting to find an easy conquest. Instead, they found a united Earth, armed with determination, ingenuity, and a few surprising tricks up its sleeve. The battle for our planet was about to begin, and humanity was ready to show the galaxy exactly what we were made of. The Kraxon Ultimatum. The tense standoff between Earth and the Kraxon fleet stretched into its third day. On screens across the planet, humans watched with bated breath as the alien ships hung motionless, trapped within the energy field that humanity had sprung like a cosmic mousetrap. In the war room deep beneath the Pentagon, General Lydia Chen paced restlessly. Her weathered face, etched with the lines of countless military campaigns, was set in a grim expression. "They're too quiet," she muttered, eyes fixed on the holographic display of the Kraxon fleet. "What are they planning?" As if in answer to her question, alarms blared across every military installation on the planet. On the main screen, the insectoid face of High Commander Zixkar appeared, mandibles clicking in barely contained rage. "Humans," the alien's voice boomed, dripping with disdain. "Your parlor tricks and hidden defenses have impressed us, but do not mistake our patience for weakness. The full might of the Kraxon Empire stands poised to crush your pitiful world." Secretary General Vega stepped forward, his calm demeanor a stark contrast to the alien's fury. "And yet, High Commander, here we stand. Your fleet immobilized, your invasion thwarted before it could begin. Perhaps it is time to reconsider your approach." Zixkar's multifaceted eyes seemed to flash with an otherworldly light. "Reconsider? Oh, we have indeed reconsidered, human. We had hoped to claim your world with minimal damage, but you leave us no choice. Behold the true power of the Kraxon Empire." The screen split, showing a real-time feed from one of Earth's deep space monitoring stations. A spatial rift tore open at the edge of the solar system, disgorging a massive ship that dwarfed even the impressive vessels of the first Kraxon fleet. "This is the World Breaker," Zixkar announced, his voice filled with grim satisfaction. "A weapon capable of cracking your planet's crust like an eggshell. You have one planetary rotation to surrender unconditionally, or we will reduce your world to cosmic dust." As the transmission cut off, the war room erupted into chaos. Military leaders shouted orders, scientists frantically analyzed data on the new threat, and diplomats argued over possible responses. Through it all, General Chen stood silent, her mind racing through scenarios and possibilities. Enough. Her voice cut through the din like a whip crack. The room fell silent. This changes nothing. We knew they wouldn't give up easily. Now let's do what humans do best: adapt and overcome. Across the globe, humanity's brightest minds were already hard at work. In a hidden facility beneath the Australian outback, Dr. Patel and her team pushed Project Prometheus to its limits, tasking the quantum AI with finding the solution to the world-breaker threat. Come on, Patel muttered, her fingers flying over holographic interfaces. Give us something, anything. As if in response to her plea, Prometheus's primary display lit up with a complex schematic. Patel's eyes widened as she took in the details. My God, she breathed. It's brilliant and insane. Meanwhile, in low Earth orbit, the International Space Station had been transformed into a hub of frenetic activity. Dr. Elena Rodriguez floated before a bank of screens, coordinating with scientists around the world as they analyzed every scrap of data on the Kraxon technology. Their quantum communication system, Rodriguez said, her voice tight with excitement. It's their strength, but it could also be their weakness, if we could just. She was interrupted by a priority alert from Mission Control. Dr. Rodriguez, we're picking up unusual energy readings from the moon. You need to see this. As the feed from the lunar observation post filled her screen, Rodriguez felt her jaw drop. The surface of the moon was changing. Vast sections were shifting, transforming, revealing structures and machinery that had lain hidden for who knew how long. Back on Earth, in the halls of power and the streets of cities worldwide, humanity grappled with the Kraxon ultimatum. Fear warred with determination, despair with hope. But through it all, a steely resolve began to emerge. In New Delhi, a group of college students hijacked a public holoscreen, broadcasting a message of defiance that quickly went viral. We are humanity. We've faced extinction before, from ice ages, from plagues, from our own folly. Each time, we've survived, we've adapted, we've grown stronger. The Kraxons think they can break us. Let them try. Similar sentiments echoed around the globe. In the favelas of Rio, in the skyscrapers of Shanghai, in the savannas of Kenya, humans from all walks of life united in a singular purpose: survival. As the deadline approached, Secretary General Vega once again stood before the United Nations. The chamber was packed, with billions more watching the live feed around the world. Vega's face was etched with the weight of the moment, but his voice rang out clear and strong. People of Earth, he began, we face the greatest threat in our species' history. The Kraxon Empire believes they can cow us into submission with their display of overwhelming force. They expect us to crumble, to give up our home, our freedom, our very identities in the face of their ultimatum. He paused, his gaze sweeping across the assembly. But they have gravely misunderstood what it means to be human. We are not a species that submits. We are not a people who surrender in the face of adversity. No, we are the descendants of those who looked at the impossible and said, watch us. Vega's voice rose, filled with passion and conviction. We split the atom. We unraveled the genome. We touched the face of the moon. And now, when faced with an enemy that threatens everything we hold dear, we will show them, and the galaxy, exactly what humanity is capable of. As if on cue, reports began flooding in from around the solar system. The hidden lunar base, a joint project of Earth's nations kept secret for decades, sprang to life, revealing defenses that rivaled anything the Kraxons had shown. Quantum communication buoys, scattered throughout the solar system, began emitting signals that played havoc with Kraxon systems. And from Earth itself, a new kind of energy signature began to build. The product of Project Prometheus's insane, brilliant plan, a gravity manipulation field that promised to turn the World Breaker's power against itself. As the Cracksun deadline ticked away, humanity stood united and defiant. In labs and military bases, in homes and shelters, humans prepared for the fight of their lives. The Cracksuns had brought their ultimatum, expecting an easy victory. Instead, they were about to learn a harsh lesson about underestimating the human spirit. The stage was set for a battle that would determine the fate of Earth and humanity's place in the cosmos. And as the first shots were fired, one thing became crystal clear. The Cracksuns had no idea what they were in for. Earth strikes back. The World Breaker loomed in Earth's sky, a dark promise of destruction visible even to the naked eye. As the Cracksun ultimatum expired, the massive ship began to power up, its hull pulsing with otherworldly energies. On Earth, in space stations, and on the transformed surface of the moon, humanity held its breath. High Commander Zixkar's voice boomed across all frequencies. "Foolish humans, your defiance ends now. Witness the..." His transmission cut off abruptly as Earth unleashed its counterstrike. From the lunar surface, massive cannons of human design augmented with reverse-engineered alien tech opened fire. Streams of hyper-accelerated particles lanced out, slamming into the World Breaker's shields with devastating force. Simultaneously, the quantum communication buoys scattered throughout the solar system activated, flooding Cracksun systems with a cascade of contradictory data. Aboard the International Space Station, Dr. Elena Rodriguez watched in awe as the fruit of years of secret research and preparation unfolded before her eyes. "It's working," she breathed, her voice barely a whisper. "My God, it's actually working." The World Breaker's attack faltered, its beam of destructive energy flickering and dispersing harmlessly into space. Cracksun ships, their systems scrambled by the quantum interference, began to drift aimlessly. But this was just the beginning. Deep beneath the Australian outback, Dr. Aisha Patel stood before the heart of Project Prometheus, sweat beading on her brow. "Initiate gravity manipulation field," she ordered, her voice steady despite the enormous pressure. The quantum eye hummed to life, its calculations beyond human comprehension. Across the globe, hidden emitters activated, bending the very fabric of space-time around them. In orbit, the effects were immediate and spectacular. The World Breaker, pride of the Cracksun fleet, began to distort. Its massive hull buckled and twisted as conflicting gravitational forces tore at it from every direction. Zixkar's voice, now panicked, crackled over the comms. "What is this sorcery? Cease this at once, or..." His threats were cut short as secondary explosions began to rock the World Breaker. The ship's own power source, destabilized by the gravity field, was tearing it apart from the inside. In the Pentagon war room, General Lydia Chen allowed herself a grim smile. "Now," she commanded, "hit them with everything we've got." Earth's combined military forces, augmented by decades of secret technological advancements, sprang into action. Fighters launched from hidden bases, their hulls shimmering with adaptive camouflage. Space-based laser platforms, disguised as ordinary satellites, revealed their true nature and opened fire. The Cracksun fleet, caught off guard, and with their systems in disarray, found themselves facing an opponent far more formidable than they had ever imagined. As the battle raged in orbit, Earth itself seemed to come alive with activity. In cities around the world, skyscrapers shed their facades, revealing defense turrets and shield generators. From the depths of the oceans, massive structures rose, unfurling into platforms that launched swarms of aquatic drones. Humanity, it seemed, had been preparing for this moment for far longer than anyone, even most humans, had realized. Aboard the Cracksun flagship, now listing badly from multiple hits, High Commander Zixkar chittered in disbelief. "Impossible," he hissed. "They were supposed to be primitives. How could they have hidden all this?" His second-in-command, Vextor, mandibles clicking nervously, offered a response. "High Commander, our initial scans, they may have been intentionally misleading. The humans appear to have developed technology capable of masking their true capabilities. Zixkar's multifaceted eyes flashed with fury. Deception, treachery. They will pay for this humiliation with the destruction of their world. But even as he spoke, the tide of battle was turning decisively against the Kraxans. The Worldbreaker, once their trump card, was now a tumbling wreck, its broken hull a stark monument to human ingenuity and determination. On Earth, in the UN chamber, Secretary General Vega watched the unfolding battle with a mixture of awe and trepidation. "We've bloodied their nose," he murmured, "but this fight is far from over." As if to underscore his words, a new threat emerged. From the depths of the Kraxan fleet, a swarm of smaller craft detached. Dropships, laden with ground troops. "They're going to attempt a surface invasion." General Chen's voice crackled over the secure line. "All ground forces, prepare for engagement." Civilian defense protocols are now in effect. Around the world, people who had been watching the space battle in fear now sprang into action. In every city, town, and village, civilians moved with purpose, following plans that had been drilled into them for years. In New York, the Statue of Liberty's torch flared to life, projecting a protective shield over the harbor. In Moscow's Red Square, the cobblestones retracted, revealing a network of defensive turrets. In the Amazon rainforest, ancient trees shimmered and transformed, cloaking devices deactivating to unveil hidden bunkers and weapon platforms. As Kraxan dropships breached the atmosphere, they found not the easy targets they expected, but a world bristling with defenses and a populace ready to fight for every inch of their home. In London, a team of hackers led by a teenage prodigy named Zora Khan launched a cyber attack against the Kraxan battle network, using algorithms developed by Project Prometheus to predict and counter alien encryption in real time. In Nairobi, Dr. Kwesi Osei activated the Pan-African Defense Grid, a network of energy weapons hidden in plain sight as solar farms and wind turbines across the continent. And in the skies above Beijing, a squadron of next-generation fighters engaged the Kraxan ships in a dogfight that would have been impossible just years before. Led by Wing Commander Lai Wei, the human pilots demonstrated a level of skill and adaptability that left their alien opponents reeling. As the battle raged on multiple fronts, in space, in the air, on the ground, and in the digital realm, a new sentiment began to spread among the Kraxan forces. It started as a whisper, grew to a murmur, and finally became a roar that could no longer be ignored. Retreat. High Commander Zixkar, his flagship now little more than a floating wreck, faced the unthinkable. "All forces," he rasped, his once commanding voice now filled with bitter defeat, "fall back. Regroup at the rally point beyond the asteroid belt." As the remnants of the once mighty Kraxan fleet limped away from Earth, humanity allowed itself a collective breath. The immediate threat had been repelled, but the war was far from over. In the aftermath of the battle, as the adrenaline began to fade, the true scale of what had been accomplished started to sink in. Humanity had not just survived its first interstellar war, it had won the opening round decisively. Secretary General Vega, his face etched with exhaustion but his eyes bright with pride, addressed the world once more. "People of Earth, we have faced our greatest challenge and emerged victorious. But our journey is not over. The Kraxans will return, and we must be ready. More than that, we must decide what kind of galactic power we wish to become." As cleanup efforts began and the work of rebuilding started, humans around the world contemplated their new reality. Earth was no longer alone in the cosmos, and it had proven itself a force to be reckoned with. The Kraxan Empire had come expecting an easy conquest. Instead, they had awakened a sleeping giant. Humanity was now poised to take its place on the galactic stage, and the universe would never be the same. The galactic stage. The news of Earth's victory over the Kraxan Empire spread through the galaxy like wildfire. In the smoke-filled backrooms of alien space stations, in the gleaming halls of distant worlds' governments, And in the hidden enclaves of galactic information brokers, the story was told and retold with increasing embellishment. A primitive world, barely able to reach its own moon, had not only repelled an invasion by one of the galaxy's major powers, but had done so decisively. The implications were staggering. On Zalthora, capital world of the Coalition of Free Systems, Ambassador Telerin addressed the assembled representatives. Her crystalline form shimmered with barely contained excitement. Esteemed colleagues, the balance of power in our galaxy has shifted. These humans have demonstrated capabilities that we cannot ignore. I propose we establish diplomatic contact immediately. Across the galaxy, similar conversations were taking place. Species that had long lived under the shadow of Kraxan aggression saw an opportunity. Others, who had dismissed Earth as an insignificant backwater, scrambled to reassess their intelligence. Meanwhile, on Earth, humanity was coming to terms with its new reality. The veil of secrecy that had hidden much of Earth's technological advancements was lifted, revealing a world far more prepared for the cosmic stage than most of its own citizens had realized. In a press conference that was broadcast globally, Dr. Aisha Patel finally revealed the full scope of Project Prometheus. For decades, she explained, her voice steady despite the weight of her words, we've been reverse engineering technology from crashed alien ships. But Prometheus took it further. It didn't just replicate, it innovated. It saw possibilities that even its creators couldn't imagine. The revelation that Earth had been preparing for alien contact and potential conflict for so long was met with a mix of emotions. Some felt betrayed by the secrecy, others vindicated in their long-held beliefs. But overwhelmingly, there was a sense of pride and wonder at what humanity had accomplished. As Earth began the process of rebuilding and strengthening its defenses, the first diplomatic overtures from other galactic civilizations arrived. The UN Security Council, hastily expanded to include representatives from every nation, worked around the clock to formulate Earth's response. Secretary General Vega, now seen as the de facto leader of Earth in galactic affairs, addressed the Council. We find ourselves in uncharted waters, he said, his voice grave. Our victory has painted a target on our backs. Some will seek alliance, others will see us as a threat to be eliminated. We must proceed with caution, but also with the courage and innovation that has brought us this far. In orbit, the International Space Station had been rapidly expanded, transformed into a hub for Earth's new role in galactic politics. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, now heading the newly formed Extraterrestrial Relations Division, prepared to welcome the first official alien delegation to Earth. As the sleek ship of the Coalition of Free Systems docked with the station, Rodriguez took a deep breath. Well, she muttered to herself, no turning back now. The meeting was a whirlwind of alien protocols, translator glitches, and moments of genuine connection. Ambassador Telerin, her crystalline form catching the light of Earth rising over the station's viewport, expressed her people's admiration for humanity's resilience. Your species has accomplished in decades what took others millennia, she said, her translated voice filled with genuine awe. We look forward to learning from each other. But not all the news from the galactic community was positive. Reports began to filter in of increased Kraxan military activity. The Empire, humiliated by its defeat, was rallying its forces. Rumors spread of a massive buildup, of new weapon development, of a thirst for revenge that would not be easily quenched. In response, Earth accelerated its own preparations. The Moon, its hidden bases now operating in full view, became a bustling hub of military and scientific activity. Mars, long the dream destination of human explorers, saw the establishment of its first permanent colony, a joint military and civilian endeavor aimed at extending humanity's reach in the solar system. But perhaps the most significant development came from an unexpected quarter. In the depths of the Australian outback, in the heart of Project Prometheus, Dr. Patel made a startling discovery. The AI, she reported to a hastily convened meeting of Earth's leaders, her voice trembling with excitement. It's unlocked the secrets of faster-than-light travel. We can build ships General Chen. Ships that can take the fight to the Kraxans if necessary. The implications were staggering. Humanity, in one giant leap, had gone from being bounded by its solar system to having the entire galaxy within reach. As shipyards sprang up in orbit and on the moon, a new debate raged on Earth. Should humanity strike first, taking the fight to the Kraxan homeworld? Or should we focus on defense, on building alliances, on becoming an integral part of the galactic community? Opinion was divided, but one thing was clear. There was no going back to the way things were. Earth was now a player on the galactic stage, for better or worse. In a hidden Kraxan base on the edge of their territory, High Commander Zixkar, his once proud exoskeleton now bearing the scars of his defeat at Earth, addressed his most loyal officers. "The humans think they have won," he hissed, mandibles clicking in fury. "They think they have earned their place among the stars. We will show them the true meaning of war. We will rain such destruction upon their world that the very memory of Earth will be wiped from the galaxy." As Zixkar's words echoed through the base, a shadow detached itself from a darkened corner. The cloaked figure slipped away unnoticed, making its way to a hidden communications array. Moments later, a tightly encrypted message was beamed across the vastness of space, aimed at a small blue planet that had recently shaken the foundations of the galaxy. On Earth, in a secure bunker deep beneath Geneva, a communications officer's eyes widened as she decoded the message. "Sir," she called out, her voice urgent, "you need to see this. It's from inside the Kraxan Empire." As humanity prepared for its next great challenge, the stage was set for a conflict that would determine not just the fate of Earth, but the future of the entire galaxy. The Kraxans were coming, driven by vengeance and wounded pride. But this time, Earth would not be fighting alone. The galaxy watched and waited, holding its collective breath. The next move would be humanity's, and the consequences would echo across the stars. A new galactic order. The encrypted message from within the Kraxan Empire had changed everything. Earth now knew the full extent of the coming storm, and the galaxy held its breath as humanity prepared for what could be its final stand. In the war room beneath Geneva, holographic displays showed the movement of fleets across the vastness of space. Secretary General Vega, his face etched with the weight of command, addressed the assembled leaders of Earth and its new alien allies. "The Kraxans are marshaling a force unlike anything the galaxy has ever seen," he said, his voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "They mean to end us, to erase the very memory of Earth from the cosmos. But they've underestimated us before, and they do so again at their peril." General Lydia Chen stepped forward, her holographic avatar flickering slightly as it was transmitted from the bridge of the EDS Defiant, Earth's first faster-than-light battleship. "Our fleets are in position," she reported. "The coalition forces have joined us at the rendezvous point. We're as ready as we'll ever be." Dr. Aisha Patel, now overseeing the deployment of Prometheus-enhanced technology across Earth's defenses, spoke up. "The gravity manipulation fields are online and at full power. If the Kraxans try to use another world-breaker, they'll be in for a nasty surprise." As the final preparations were made, a sense of eerie calm settled over the Earth. In cities and towns across the globe, people went about their daily lives with a mix of tension and determination. Humanity had faced extinction before and survived. They would do so again. In orbit around a gas giant at the edge of Kraxan space, the combined fleet of Earth and its allies waited. Ships of various designs and origins floated side by side. The sleek, organic curves of coalition vessels, the crystalline structures of the Zalforan ships, and at the center, the imposing forms of Earth's own fleet. Aboard the EDS Defiant, Wing Commander Lai Wei ran final checks on her squadron of fighters. "Remember," she told her pilots, "a mix of humans and aliens who had joined Earth's cause. We're not just fighting for our world. We're fighting for the right of all species to live free from tyranny." The waiting game ended abruptly as space itself seemed to tear open. The Kraxun Armada emerged from hyperspace, a vast swarm of ships that blotted out the stars. At its heart was a vessel that dwarfed even the Worldbreaker, the Galactic Cleaver, Zixkar's ultimate weapon of planetary destruction. All ships, battle stations. General Chen's voice rang out across the comm channels. Remember your training. Remember what we're fighting for. Engage on my mark. For a moment, the universe held its breath. Then, with a word from Chen, hell itself was unleashed among the stars. The battle that followed would be spoken of for generations to come. Earth's gravity weapons wreaked havoc on the Kraxun fleet, twisting metal and rending hulls. Coalition energy lances sliced through enemy formations with surgical precision. And at the heart of it all, Earth's fighters darted and weaved, their pilots demonstrating skill that left even their alien allies in awe. But the Kraxums gave as good as they got. Their numbers seemed endless, their weapons devastating. For every ship they lost, they seemed to inflict equal damage on the Allied fleet. As the battle raged, a small, stealthy craft slipped away from the EDS Defiant. On board were Dr. Elena Rodriguez, now Earth's foremost expert in alien biology, and a team of specially trained operatives. Their mission: to infiltrate the Galactic Cleaver and end the threat once and for all. Remember, Rodriguez told her team as they approached the massive Kraxun flagship, Zixkar's arrogance is our advantage. He never expected us to bring the fight to him. Using technology developed by Project Prometheus, the team breached the Cleaver's hull undetected. They fought their way through the alien corridors, facing challenges that would have been unimaginable just months before. Finally, they reached the bridge. In the ensuing chaos, Rodriguez found herself face to face with High Commander Zixkar himself. The Kraxun leader's mandibles clicked in fury as he lunged at her, but Rodriguez was ready. With moves honed by months of intensive training, she dodged the attack and deployed a specially designed bioagent. Zixkar stumbled, his exoskeleton beginning to crack and flake. What have you done?" he gasped. Rodriguez stood tall, her voice steady. "We've evolved, Zixkar. Not just technologically, but as a species. We've learned to adapt, to overcome. Something your empire, for all its power, never understood." As Zixkar fell, Rodriguez's team took control of the Galactic Cleaver's systems. Across the battlefield, Kraxun ships suddenly found themselves without leadership, their battle networks in disarray. The tide turned decisively. What had been a desperate battle for survival became a rout. Kraxun ships surrendered en masse or flowed into the depths of space. As the dust settled, the full impact of what had occurred began to sink in. Earth, a world that had been unknown to the galactic community just months before, had not only defeated one of the most powerful empires in the galaxy, but had done so in a way that reshaped the very fabric of interstellar politics. In the days that followed, delegates from across the galaxy converged on Earth. The International Space Station, now expanded into a sprawling orbital city, hosted the largest gathering of alien species in known history. Secretary General Vega, standing before representatives from 100 worlds, spoke words that would echo through the ages. "We stand at a crossroads," he said, his voice carrying the weight of humanity's journey. "We have seen the face of conflict, felt its cost. Now we must choose our path forward. Earth extends its hand in friendship to all peaceful species. Let us build a galaxy where knowledge, not conquest, is our shared goal." The Galactic Concordat that emerged from those talks reshaped the cosmic order. Earth, along with its allies, became the cornerstone of a new interstellar alliance dedicated to mutual defense, scientific exchange, and peaceful exploration. As ships bearing the flag of this new alliance set out to explore the furthest reaches of the galaxy, humanity looked to the stars with new eyes. They had faced their greatest challenge and emerged not just victorious, but transformed. On a hillside overlooking the gleaming spires of New Geneva, Earth's first truly global city, Dr. Aisha Patel stood with her old friends, Elena Rodriguez, Lydia Chen, and the others who had been at the heart of Earth's transformation. "Did you ever imagine it would turn out like this?" Rodriguez asked, her eyes on the sky where the glittering forms of orbital habitats were visible even in daylight. Patil smiled, shaking her head. "Never. But that's the beauty of it, isn't it? The universe is full of possibilities we can't even imagine. And now we get to explore them all." As night fell and the stars came out, stars that were no longer distant and unreachable, but beacons of worlds to be discovered, humanity looked to the future with hope, wonder, and the unshakable knowledge that whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together. The Crexons had come to conquer a primitive world. Instead, they had awakened a sleeping giant and reshaped the galaxy in ways none could have foreseen. Earth's children now walked among the stars, carrying with them the indomitable spirit that had seen them through their darkest hour. The human adventure was just beginning.